Hey 68, how you doing? Happy Wednesday, halfway through our week, halfway through the last week of coaching videos for Malachi. So here we're going to get into it real quick, get right to the point. Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. Then those who feared the Lord gathered together. Those who feared the Lord said, those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. Today we're looking at how this passage applies to my church family. How does this, when I look at this, when I read this verse and I think about my church family, how can I enrich my church family experience by thinking about it? Well, the question is, do we fear the Lord, and do we gather together in such a way that we kind of remember, do we celebrate? And that's what I'm hoping to encourage in today's video. I'm hoping to encourage you to gather together, to fear the Lord, and to share about how you are serving the Lord together. So gather together. We've talked about this. It's important, even through the summer months, even though this coming weekend is July 4th weekend, even though there's going to be a lot of nice weather in the next couple of months ahead of us, it's important that we gather together. We don't stop meeting together. We come together, and together we worship the Lord. Together we fear the Lord. Together we are in reverence of God and in awe of who God is and what He does. We come together and we fear the Lord. And so that's important that we understand that as an integral aspect, an integral part of being one of God's children, being a part of God's family. And so today, I want you to make sure that you spend some time thinking about and praying about and even maybe recommitting in your mind and your heart today. I am going to be a committed member of this family of 6A Church that God has put me in. We gather together, we fear the Lord, and then we share stories. We talk about, we remember how we have served the Lord together. That's like we're going to be talking about in about 10 days from now with our volunteer appreciation dinner. We're just going to come together and talk about how we've served the Lord together over the last year and how we've encouraged one another in that. How have we served the Lord as individuals? Coming together on a Sunday morning. I hope on Sunday mornings, I would love for you to share with one another how you have served God in this last week. What are some things that you've done to serve God? How have you grown in your relationship with God? How have you experienced being a good tither, like we talked about last week, and being generous with what God has given you? What has God blessed you with that you've been able to give out to the people around you? Share those stories. Share the stories of how you're reaching out to your 6 days. Share the stories of how you're inviting your neighbors and your family and your friends and your coworkers to church or to the events that we have going on as a church over the next couple of months. Share stories about how you are living out, doing justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly. Share those stories with one another and encourage one another in those things. And I think that'll help us as we build up one another in Christ in that way, to know that I'm not the only one out there doing what I'm doing. There are others who are sharing those stories with me every Sunday. So I think that's how we can apply that. You can do that in our Facebook group online. You can go to facebook.com and our 6-8 Church community group, and you can share those stories there, or you can share them on our 6-8 Facebook page if you'd like. Share them on your own page and just tag 6-8 Church, and then we'll all be able to see it. Or share it on your own page on something that God has blessed you with being able to do, how it's a joy to serve at the food pantry, a joy to serve in children's ministry, a joy to serve in the youth ministry, a joy to serve on the worship ministry. Share how it's a joy to serve and on your own page, and then share that with us in the community group. I think there's a lot of ways we can remember together what God is doing and share those stories and encourage one another with it. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow for another tip.